mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is episode 56 of our long-running Tomb of Annihilation campaign, Chult of Personality. And this episode is entitled Chained Guardians. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to the return of Mini-Terrain Domain on the streams. This is our first game of the new year. Very excited to be back behind the camera, or in front of the camera, I should say, and gathered around the virtual table with some of my best friends. And we're gonna play some awesome D&D tonight, continuing this campaign. Thank you to Shadow of the Dragon, who just resubscribed for 2 months, which of course you guys know means you get another domain die. If you don't know what domain dice are, you can type domain dice in the chat, or you can look down below when it comes by on the scroll at the bottom. Basically, these domain devils down below are our way of letting you, the viewers, participate in the stream. Simply for a tip of $5 or a 500-bit cheer, resubscriptions, subscriptions, raids, all of those kind of things earn domain devils that allow the players to do things like re-rolling a d20, forcing me to re-roll a d20, and so much more. All of that by typing domain dice in the chat, and you'll learn how that works. Megan getting in there with the meta subscription again, but that's okay. In the new year, one thing you're going to notice is, I've been promising this for a long time, we are going to keep the announcements at the front of the stream very small. Tonight, I'm just going to tell you a couple of things. Since it is our return, I want to remind you that this game happens every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Monday nights, we have All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, DM'd by Mr. Mike the Piper over here. Returning this Tuesday over on Dice on Ice, and run by Megan, and featuring myself, Kaeryn, and Connor as players, along with a few others, is the Curse of Strahd game, happening on Dice on Ice channel on YouTube. The second and fourth Wednesday of every month, which I believe is this Wednesday, but you guys can correct me, your Spire, the City Must Fall campaign. Connor's shaking his head yes. Megan's like, I don't know. So maybe or maybe not. And that happens right here on Mini-Terrain Domain, produced by Megan and GM'd by Connor. This Thursday will be the return of the Dawnbringers at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, run by me, and Megan is one of the players in that as well. And then Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern will be the return after a 2-week hiatus of Check for Traps, CFT RPG's presentation of Curse of Strahd that happens right here on Mini-Terrain Domain. Be sure to follow the Twitch channel and hit that little notification button to be notified whenever we go on our streams, so you can hop in and see what's going on. The last thing I want to do, and this is the one announcement that you will be guaranteed to hear every stream, and it is this: you matter. You are important. You are loved. Excuse me. And your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether you know that or not. It is incredibly important to me that you know that. And there are many of resources available for you if you are struggling with accepting that. You can type at any point in time, you can type help in the chat, and I'm not sure why it showed up out of order. I'll have to work on getting that fixed. Or down below on the scroll, I have those numbers going by as well. But we have a variety of numbers for the National Suicide Lifeline, both in the United States and in Canada. And I've also provided a link to open counseling. I don't know why the link's not working. I apologize, but you can just look that up at opencounseling.org, and there's a full plethora of international numbers as well. But here in the United States, if you need help, you can contact the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. And if you're a veteran, you simply press 1 and you will get a specialist for veterans. Or you can text 741-741. In Canada, the crisis text line can be reached by texting CONNECT for English or PARLER for French to 686-868. Or you can contact the Canada Suicide Prevention Services number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in English or French, toll free at 1-833-456-4566. Thank you, Fellowship Armad, for putting the full link up there for opencounseling.com. Lots of great resources available there. And you can get even more information by clicking on the tab down below the stream here for Jasper's Game Day, who we are partnered with. So with that, I think we're ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons. However, I do believe we're going to need a little bit of a reminder of just what happened. Let me fill you in. No, it will take too long. Let me summarize. You are in the Tomb of the Nine Gods. You have been in here for, depending on who you are, and really you don't know how long exactly. Some of you think you've been in here for 3 days, but it's actually been a year. Some of you are pretty sure you've only been in here for a couple of days, but don't really know. And with at least one occurrence in which you are fairly certain you traveled to the past, briefly, you're not even sure what time it is anymore. Such is the nature of Acerak's Tomb of the Nine Gods. But you have, after many, many weeks and months of journeying, for some of you, you have reached your final endgame in the search for the so-called Soulmonger, the very reason that death has cursed the lands of the Forgotten Realms. You learned that resurrections could no longer take place, and that people who had previously died and been resurrected were starting to die all over again. And so you've been on this long search seeking the cause and have ultimately traced it to the Tomb of the Nine Gods. You've lost some people along the way. They've either split off and gone their own ways, they've become lost, or they've been taken in the course of the adventure, though their fate is not completely known at this time. You, in your time in the tomb, you have completed your journeys through the first 2 upper levels of the tomb, finding warning signs, clues from Acerak himself to possibly solve his dungeons, though they are shrouded in mystery and vagary. Excuse me. Nonetheless, you have made your way through the first 2 levels, though it should be pointed out that 2 of the skeleton keys that are made from the heads of actual skeletons with iron fused in unique shapes to their heads, you have had in your possession, and both of them you have managed to drop. So potentially to the very bottom of the dungeon. So hopefully they're still waiting for you when you get down there. How many more keys remain, you don't know. You've had some close calls with some very deadly traps. You've met some of the deadly denizens of this dungeon. You met up with a elven archer who thought she had only been here for a few days. Turns out she's been here for the better part of a year. And you have encountered more than one. At this point, I think it's been about 3 or 4 members of her previous adventuring party, all of whom are dead. Nonetheless, you persist. In this latest 3rd level of the dungeon, a place that all of the walls and the ceilings and the floors are permeated by this mysterious purple fungus that occasionally eye stalks will poke out of and observe you before receding back into the fungus. You have traversed a handful of rooms and discovered these colored spherical glass eyes, of which you possess 3 of them currently. Though you don't know what their end purpose is or how many there are, you keep finding them. Most recently, looking to continue along through the open pathways, you discovered that there were, a little ways into this long hallway, there were a couple of alcoves containing these tomb guardians. Guardians that are made of armor, scraps of armor bolted together and bolted to scraps of flesh that are fused together. One of whom you previously saw was made from one of Taliel's former adventuring partners. These 2 guardians, however, are joined across a 10-foot hall by a spiked chain. When last we left the adventurers, Brilinya used her recently acquired Wand of Wonders to attempt to do something, anything, to see if they could bypass this. For at the end of this hall, you can see a set of double doors. You succeeded only in filling the hallway with a poisonous, stinking cloud that only lasted for about a minute while you argued about whether or not you should proceed. When the gas cleared, the chain began to rattle. You heard the creaking of metal as the 2 tomb guardians begin to move. And that is why we are going to start this session with Roll for Initiative. And I will also roll for initiative. Let's see. All right, Vale, what'd you get?
21.
21 for Vale. Taliel?
23.
Brilinya?
I also have 21.
20. I'm sorry, was that 21?
Yes.
What is your dex?
My dex is +6.
Good Lord. What's your... So I'm just going to say that probably beats your dex there, Vale?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Qualu?
I got a 5.
All right, our order is going to be Taliel, followed by Brilinya. Closely on her heels will be Vale, then the Guardians, and finally Qualu. As it stands, reference my map here again. You are standing at the end of the hallway, sort of bunched in the opening there. The balcony over that wide central shaft is at your back. And these guardians are 20 feet in and just beginning to move. Taliel, what would you like to do?
Taliel would very much like to shoot her bow.
All right, and just for my sanity, let me know when you're targeting them just by left or right.
Okay. I'm going to target left.
Okay.
Okay. And that's not very good. That is so sorry. 15 on the die. 15, not on the die. 15 together, total.
You see a spark as your arrowhead ricochets off of one of these scrap metal plates, and you hear it clatter somewhere off in the distance in the hallway.
Okay. Again, with the left, she is going to shoot an arrow. She gets 3 in a turn, so that's what she's doing.
Yep. These
this
are
one.
11. You guys are 11th level now, I believe, right?
Yes, we are. And these are all magical for sakes of.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be. I think at this point, most everybody has magical attacks. I don't know if everybody does, but let me know if your attacks are magical or mundane when you make them.
Okay. So this one is a 29 to hit.
That's just for certainly going to hit.
Okay. And I am going to also use my last of the day, last of the rest of the arcane shot. So as this arrow, it glows green as it leaves the bow, and it's almost like a deadly shot. It's like straight at that creature on the left. And when it hits it, not only does it embed itself into the creature's body, but it also explodes. So the target and creatures within 10 feet of it will take additional 2d6 force damage.
And let me just double check. Well, yeah, they are within 10 feet of each other.
Okay, and so... Okay, so the arrow... I will roll all this together. This has been too long. The arrow does 11 points of magical piercing, and then they have 9 more points of force damage.
So a total of 20 points of damage.
And 9 on the other one.
All right.
And if it is still up, the third arrow is also going to be to the one on the left.
Oh yeah, it's definitely still up.
Okay.
These things are massive, hulking.
Huge. That's a 25 to hit.
Yes.
Okay,
That
so
hits.
that is 8 points of piercing damage. And I believe, just quickly going through my thing, I believe that is my turn.
All right. It is going to be Brilinya.
So Brilinya stretches her hand at the right golem and lets off these 3 large blasts of radiant energy. Is something that has become a staple in her offensive, which are Eldritch Blasts. And I think maybe it almost surprises her, because I don't think that she has she's never been able to cast 3 bolts of these Eldritch Blasts. And I think one that comes out as like almost an accident, because she definitely failed on the last one. So I could always imagine that she lets out these 2 with confidence, and then the last one she's very surprised by it.
Yeah, it's like you're so used to firing off these 2 shots, and you're like sort of like putting your hands like pulling away from the offensive posture, and that 3rd shot goes off, surprising you. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because she got a 20, a 19, and an 11 or 12. Sorry.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so the 20 and the 19 will hit.
Yeah. Okay. So that's gonna do 15 plus 19 points of damage, and it's also going to push it back 10 feet.
They actually will not slide back because they're still in their alcoves. So, but they do get sort of staggered and slammed against the wall. So, as a trade-off, roll me, because you were shooting at both of them, right?
Yep.
Or were you only shooting at one?
Oh, sorry, one.
And which one was it?
I think I said left.
Okay, so roll me a d6.
Okay.
We'll trade it off with bludgeoning damage for slamming it into the wall.
I got a 4.
Right. Okay, so I would like everybody before you take your turn, I would like everybody to make a perception check. Connor, are your dice not working in your favor today?
Apparently not for the new year. I got a total of 7.
Same. I got 7.
I am too intent on where my arrows are going. I got a 9.
I also got a 9.
You guys, I set the DC at 10. Oh my gosh. Never mind.
Hey, we're trying to work with you, not against you.
All right. So there, very well. Carry on. Brilinya, was that the end of your turn?
Yep.
Vale, what would you like to do?
All right, so I'm assuming and how far apart?
They're still in their alcoves, so they're basically
right,
10-ish feet apart from each other.
Okay.
It's closer to 15 because they're in those alcoves, but
right.
For mechanical purposes, if there's a 10-foot range, they're within range of each other.
Okay. So yeah, I'll probably run up in between them, kind of do some incredibly cool, difficult to explain acrobatical sort of thingy, slide underneath the spike chain, and I'll start with attacking the one on the left. That's a lot to hit. I mean, so much. I'm totally not stalling. I am. It's 24 to hit.
Definitely a hit.
Okay. And that is going to be 7 points of 14 points of magical piercing damage and 5 points of radiant damage.
All right.
19 all in, if you really want to.
Got it.
Okay. And still standing?
Yep.
Okay. How's the one on the right looking?
I'm not going to make you roll perception now since you ran right up between them.
Oh,
Nobody has hit the one on the right.
All right.
Except, did you hit the one? I missed which one you were targeting. Were you targeting
the one on the left? I just hit the one on the left. Yeah.
So you ran up and hit the same one that Taliel and Brilinya have hit. Nobody has struck the one on the right. Okay. You turn your attention toward the one on the right, and you see that it is bleeding profusely from the same wounds that the one on the left is. All of the injuries that the one on the left has received, the one on the right has also received.
All right, I'm going to attack the one on the left again then. Okay, well, I mean, that's not phenomenal. That's a 14 to hit.
This one misses.
Okay, well then I'll use a whatchamanutzer.
Oh,
domain die.
A domain die. Yes.
Yeah, those things that I never use. I've only heard about them in passing in myth.
There you go. Re-roll and take the new roll.
I'll take that roll. Now we're talking. That is a 23 to hit.
That is definitely going to hit.
Yep. I am also going to use a spell slot. consume a spell slot, and I'll make it a divine smite or divine strike. Smite, strike, smite. We're going to do that thing that everyone likes when they're paladins. You know, basically the paladin version of Eldritch Blast. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, yes. So, okay, so first, I'm going to go ahead. This is going to be a level 1. So first, the actual stabby damage is going to be 14.
All right.
And then, oh, what a coincidence. And then another 14 points of radiant damage.
All right. So that's
28 all in.
okay. Just so you know, in not even through the first round yet, and the three of you have done 100 points of damage. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, because I get 2 attacks. So, yeah. Yep, that's me.
I'm just checking something because you have triggered an effect.
It's the story of my life, isn't it?
Okay. So as you finish your attack, you notice the golem seems to, both of the guardians seem to sort of regain their composure from this onslaught of attacks. And both of them smash their spiked gauntlets together. They seem to almost be moving in unison, and they just look at you. And you see as their eyes begin to almost glow with this red fury. And I'm going to roll and see if you've triggered their berserker ability. They do not go berserk. However, they are going to attack you. In unison, both of these golems are going to attack you with their multi-attack. So, that's going to be their first attack. Is going to be, the one on the left is a 23. The one on the right is a 25 to hit. And then their second attacks are going to be, the one on the left is a 13, which I believe misses you. And the one on the right is a natural 19, so that's a 26 to hit. So, you get hit by 3 of these spiked gauntlet attacks. So, that is 1, 2, 3. So you're going to take 6d8 plus 6d6 damage.
That's a bit.
Plus the modifiers. So, just from the bludgeoning, ooh, that's a lot of 8s. So that's 10, 26, 33 plus 12 is 45 points of bludgeoning damage. As they just start pummeling on you, and as they're hitting you, their spikes are puncturing you, and you taking it on top of that, you take 5, 10, 15, 18 points of piercing damage. So the rest of you, as you see Vale rush up into this and deal these amazing attacks, there's a brief hesitation, and then both golems come in and just leaving Vale dazed. Are you still standing, Vale?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No problem. I've got hit points for days.
So they put a whooping on Vale, and now it is Qualu's turn.
Put whooping on Vale. I put whooping on you. Oh. Qualu will brandish that goat-headed staff of striking of his. He'll lunge forward, leaping past the waifish little warlock slinging Eldritch Blasts, and past the archer, and past the dainty dude with a fancy sword who got pummeled and beat the ever-living crap out of the one on the right, let's say.
Okay. Commence the whooping.
All right, that's going to be a... Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. We got a 24 to hit, a 25 to hit, and another 24 to hit.
Yeah, those will all hit.
All right, this is all magical bludgeoning damage. Okay, that's going to be 13 plus 16 plus 16. 32 and 13 is 45 points of magical bludgeoning. Bam, bam, bam.
What does it look like, Qualu, as you come in and you destroy these two Tomb Guardians?
I feel like the Tomb Guardians had overextended themselves a bit in their onslaught of Vale, and Qualu leaps in and is able to just shatter the arms of these things with these 1 and 2 mighty blows, and they're knocked aside, and then he sweeps out the knees, and as they fall and topple, they'll like bang heads together as they topple. You're welcome, he says to Vale.
And just like that, in exactly 1 round of combat, you have defeated the Tomb Guardians. The path now lies before you on the other side of these Guardians, extending for about 35 feet to the west, ending in a set of double doors. There is also a passageway to the north about 20 feet along. At least that's what's visible to you, plus the purple fungus that's everywhere. How would you like to proceed?
Doors or the hallway that are... There is no door in that hallway, right? The one that goes off?
You don't know. I deliberately obscured it on the map that I gave you.
Oh.
The map I gave you only shows what you have actively seen up to the start of this session. So unless you go up there and look, you don't know what's in that area.
Okay. I think that Brilinya would start walking up then. Kind of skirting the same side as the alcove is, so that she can kind of peek around the corner.
All right. As Brilinya begins to make her way forward, is anybody else doing anything?
Taliel will go up towards the golem, the Tomb Guardians that fell. I'd like to retrieve any arrows if there's any possible way to do so as I'm doing it, but I will also follow Brilinya and be behind her.
You fired a total of 3 arrows.
Yeah.
You can get 1 back.
Okay, thank you.
All right. What about Vale and Qualu? You guys are both pretty much right there at the Guardians. Berlinius creeping along the wall towards the alcove.
I'm all right. I'm just gonna bleed a lot.
Polly will unsync the staff from the Tomb Guardian flesh bone metal and kind of cover Berlinia's 6, kind of keeping an eye and kind of traps that might be about to chance upon her.
Qualu, as you withdraw your staff, your goat-headed staff from these hulks, it's kind of wedged between a couple of the plates, and as you pull on it, as you grunt just with that little bit of effort, you involuntarily make this sound. You will now periodically be bleating like a goat.
And you complain about me breaking the 4th wall.
Brilinya.
Just quickly, as Brilinya passes Vale, I think that she is going to heal him for 17 points.
Through
her, my healing light.
Ah.
Yes.
So just as you pass, just sort of like that, kind of reaching out, almost like a reassuring, "You're right there, Vale," and just kind of passing this glimmer of light. This isn't the first time you've helped him out in this way, so it would be a familiar sensation. As you feel slightly better, Vale.
And as she passes by, I'll just say, "Thank you." And I'll also probably, I'll lay on hands myself.
All right.
For most of my lay on hands healing.
So, Brilinya, as you move the 15 feet forward, and are you moving quietly, stealthily, trying to sneak around and get a look?
Yes, as much as she can. I think she would be sneaky.
All right, so go ahead and make any stealth checks.
That's 15 on stealth.
A what?
15.
Okay. No problem. You are able to peer into this hallway. You see that it is a 5-foot wide hallway that extends for 20 feet before opening into a wider room. This room is another 30, 35 feet, seems to be slightly longer. And you can just make out at the far end, northern end of this room, another sarcophagus. Much like the other sarcophagi of the trickster gods. At this distance, that's all you can make out. You don't see any movement or anything in the room. You do notice now that there is you are close enough now that to the west, the double doors that are at the end of the hallway you're in are heavy wooden doors that are carved with the leering, laughing skulls that look very much like the green devil face. So you've got what appears to be another tomb to the north, and you've got the double doors to the west.
I think that Brilinya would take a look at the journal where she has written down the clues for this floor, and seeing that we have found I'm pretty sure we've found 3 of them. Yeah, walk through the water, slake your shadow, and the vulture are the ones that we've figured out. So then she kind of mutters to herself, right of the gods, and the walls of history tell all. She's kind of like looking around at both the hallway and the doors to see if she can see anything that would go with these clues, but so far nothing. So I think she would turn to Taliel, since she's been the smartest one in these puzzles.
Taliel looks back at Brilinya and she looks at the doors that are closed, but instead of going there, she's going to walk down the hall. You said it was like 20 feet before it opens up into a room. She's going to go first down that hall. Bow out and ready, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's taking it cautiously because she is looking for, like, she's expecting something to jump out at some point. Something. But we'll head that way.
All right. And then Qualu and Vale, I would like perception checks or investigation checks from both of you as you're kind of holding back and watching the basically pulling rear guard for these two as they're sort of looking, and then Taliel moves ahead.
Got a 12.
Vale, perception or investigation?
1 second. I rolled a natural 1.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
All right, Taliel, you begin to move forward through the 20 feet of this hall. There's a little bit of a crunching under your feet as you're just stepping on, you're just stepping onto some of this purple fungus that's crowding the hallway. After 20 feet, you see that the room opens 10 foot to the left and 10 feet to the right. This room is 35... Where'd my mouse go? There it is. Is a total of 40 feet long, north to south, and 25 feet wide. And what you see... Get rid of that. What you'll see is a 4-columned portico juts out from the far wall to the north, beneath which a stone sarcophagus rests in a wall recess. 4 ceramic frog masks hang in niches around the sarcophagus. Beneath the masks, humanoid bones are strewn across the floor. To the east, a large carving of a tentacled frog monster squats above a shrine. Offerings lie on a shelf before it. 4 rectangular frescoes adorn the adjacent walls. So basically, in this room, you have frescoes on the walls around the room. You have a sarcophagus with 4 excuse me. You have a sarcophagus which has masks, and there's basically 2 on either side, hanging in these niches. As a reminder, Vale, you are currently inhabited by Obalaka, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So as soon as you... Well, actually, you don't see into the room yet. You're not there. Unless you're following behind her. Taliel went in first. The hallway was only wide enough for 2. So are you guys following single file into this room? Okay. So then, yeah, as soon as you come into the room and you see this, in your mind, you hear Obalaka warning you, Vale. Oh no. Whatever you do, do not try on those masks. Only danger can come from those. So on the east wall, in the center, is where this carving of Kubazan, the Froghemoth, or a Froghemoth, either way, seems to be on the wall. There's a shelf below it with some offerings, and then on either side of it, to the left and to the right, are these frescoes.
Taliel will immediately go towards the frescoes. She's thinking about that clue, the walls of history tell all, and thinking maybe this might fit it. So she is first going to look at the frescoes, at what they say.
All right.
What they show.
So here's what you see on the frescoes, starting left to right. On the first fresco, you see a frog-like behemoth uses its tentacles to help the Omuan people knock down a mighty statue. In the foreground, an old woman wearing a frog mask tosses 5 coins from her hand as though sowing seeds. In the second fresco, A frog-like behemoth wraps its tentacles around a giant crocodile as Omuan hunters stab the crocodile with their spears. In the foreground, an old man wearing a frog mask holds a bug up to his open mouth. Fresco 3. A frog-like behemoth with 4 Omuan hunters riding on its back finds a small boy in the jungle. The hunters seem elated. In the foreground, a young woman wearing a frog mask holds a knife in one hand and a headless chicken in the other. In the fourth fresco, a frog-like behemoth wallows in a shallow pool as Omuans offer it urns of food and treasure as tribute. Cracks in the fresco obscure the head of the human figure in the foreground, but you can see that it grasps a lit candle. As you are looking at these frescoes, you also can see, because you have to kind of move from left to right, and you pass in front of the shelf that has all the offerings in front of the carving of Kubazan. There is a 6-inch tall stone statuette of a froghemoth that looks to weigh a few pounds, and there is a copper bowl containing rat bones, 4 dead cockroaches, a green wax candle with a salvageable wick, and 5 loose gold coins. How would you like to proceed?
So if the the walls of history tell all. So these should be telling us what we need to do next.
Yes, and probably in the order we should be doing them.
Right. And there's 5 coins in the picture, and there's 5 gold
Here.
Yes.
And there's, the second was a bug, and there's 4 cockroaches, and I don't really want to eat a bug, but...
Welcome to Survivor, Season 27.
Survivor, the Chult edition.
And aren't they all wearing masks? And Brilinya would gesture over to the 4 masks that are hanging
Masks, yeah.
there.
Except for the last fresco, the head has been, the fresco's cracked, and you can't see if that head is wearing a mask or not.
So what do the 4 masks look like while we're looking at this stuff?
The 4 masks look like frogs. They're made of ceramic, and they are painted in various colors. There's one that is blue, one that is a golden yellow, one that is green, and one that is red. Though each of them has other colors in them as well, they all seem to share the same color scheme, though the dominant color is red, blue, green, yellow. Though the frescoes are completely colorless. They're just the color of the stone from which they are carved.
So does that mean each of us should do something, but like wearing the mask, perhaps?
Don't wear the mask. Whatever you do, do not put that mask on. You hear inside your head, Vale.
Yeah. Wait. The strange little creature in my head is telling me we can't wear any of the masks.
I don't care what they do, but you better not put that mask on while I'm in here.
Why?
Because I said so. It's dangerous.
No, give me an actual reason.
You don't know
why.
where it's been. And that's Kubazan. Do you not know the froghemoth?
Yes,
Kubazan
I had
the
him
god?
inside me just before you.
What? You didn't tell me Kubazan was in here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I had to explain to you all the different deities that have been inside my brain for the past while.
I don't know if there's a word for it, and perhaps I'll have to come up with it. But you're the equivalent of a floozy. Whatever that is when somebody is with multiple deities.
Hey, hang on a minute. No, don't deity shame. That's not right.
Don't put on one of those masks. It can be nothing but bad.
Is there a mask that kind of resembles Obalaka? Or are they all froghemoths? Like, are they all like mini froghemoth
They all
masks?
just look like frogs.
Yeah, okay.
And it's less the sound, because you've grown quite accustomed to having Obalaka talking inside your head. The sound that you're hearing is less one of a admonishment. It's more of a, oh dear God, please don't do this. I don't know what's going to happen, and it could be bad. Because Obalaka is always cautious.
So the order that you said, that was from left to right?
Yes, left to right.
Okay.
Brilinya, you hear in your head, fairly new, you've only heard this voice a couple times, but you are, you have the voice of, I just blanked. Cannot believe I just blanked on the name of this god. 1 second. Oh my gosh. It is
Ejin?
Ejin. There we go. I knew it was the El Mirage. Ooh, masks. Those look fun. Look at all that stuff on the shelf. There's a candle and coins and bugs. You could have it all. Anything that's not securely fastened to anything you should just take.
Brilinia's like almost nodding to herself because she's not used to this voice. So the only voice that she's used to is kind of her conscience or what is in her head. So she's kind of hearing this, and she is slowly reaching for one of the masks. And if nobody stops her, she would grab one.
Brilinya, Taliel is not going to stop Brilinya, but I just want to clarify that the only thing that's like that stands out about these masks from each other is their color. Like in other aspects, they look like
it looks like they were made from the same pattern. They're just colored differently. Brilinya grabs one of the masks.
I'll grab her hand. I'm gonna grab the mask from her hand forcefully if I have to, and I'm just gonna put it on.
Brilinya, Vale snatches the mask out of your hand.
And as I'm putting it on, I'm gonna say, if anyone's gonna take some kind of a risk, it'll be me. Maybe I'll finally shut Obalaka up.
All you hear in your head, Vale, is no. I hate you.
Good.
And then you don't hear it, but you get the sense that Obalaka has turned its back on you and is pouting.
Oh, I assume I was going to hear the.
No, it's not running away in the distance this time.
All right.
All right, so you've got a mask on. Nothing else happens. You're wearing a mask.
Well, I'm fine. I'm not injured. And, all right, I'm going to try and take the mask off now.
You reach up, grab the edges of the mask, and it comes off very easily.
All right.
You hear in the back of your head just a sigh of relief as the mask comes off.
Yeah, worried over nothing is what you do.
Do these masks look like the same ones in the fresco? Besides the fact that there's colors, etc.
They do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Taliel will grab one as well then.
All right.
She's not putting it on yet, but she's got one in her hand. And she looks towards Brilinya and Qualu.
I've had a very bad experience of Vale trying something and it going fine, and then me trying something directly after it not going fine. So, since I'm not the first one anymore to try something, Taliel, would you mind? She's like holding the mask, another one. She's like looking at you.
Sure, I can do that. And Taliel will then take it and put it on her face.
You're putting it on your own face or on Brilinya's face?
No, on my face.
Just wanted to clarify what's going to happen. Okay.
Ah.
So Taliel is now wearing a frog mask.
Yeah.
And Vale is just holding one. Okay.
That's fine, Brilinya. I'm okay. And she'll hold out the one she had taken. She'll hold that one out to Brilinya.
Brilinya would take the mask and also put it on.
I need you to make... No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I need you to make a Constitution save at disadvantage. No, I'm just kidding. No, you are also able to put on a mask.
Okay. And then I think Brilinya would look at Qualu expectantly.
Qualu sees two frog faces staring at him, waiting for him to do the same.
I will be frog too, I guess.
I just imagine that as you're looking at him, it's just one of the frogs just sort of...
I got a bad idea about this.
Qualu's starting to sound a little bit goaty. All right.
I don't want to go to you on it.
So are you...
I'll put on the mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Vale,
Famous
do
last
you continue to hold your mask or do you put yours on as well?
Yeah, I'll put mine on.
Okay.
Why not?
The four of you are now wearing frog masks.
words. Wow.
What would you like to do?
So the stuff on the altar, was it just all over the place, or was like the coins?
There's no rhyme or reason. It just seems to be sitting there. There's, like I said, there's the the copper bowl containing rat bones, the 6-inch tall frog statue, 4 dead cockroaches, a green wax candle, and 5 loose gold pieces.
Taliel is going to approach it and start moving the coins to the left. So they're on the left post, and then the cockroaches, then the bowl, then the candle. So that they're arranged on the altar.
All right, say that again.
The 5 gold coins on the left, then the 4 cockroaches, then the bowl, then the candle.
Okay, you just rearrange the stuff?
Yeah, I'm just putting them in order.
Yep, they're on the shrine in that order now. What about the statue?
I left it right in the middle. It's a statue of the frog,
Yep.
right?
Yep, it's a 6-inch tall. It's just sitting there. It looks like it weighs maybe 5 pounds at most. You could pick it up and look at it if you wanted to.
That sounds like bait.
Perhaps they want us to do the things in front of this statue.
Oh, like put the coins first and drop them, like just do the frescoes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like do the frescoes in order in front of the statue. That's how many of the deities are worshipped. If this is a deity,
Okay.
we expect you to worship it as, and she like she looks at the frescoes and she notices that, the people are always in the foreground, so like look in front of the froghina, so maybe that's be in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want the bowl or the coins?
I'll do the bowl.
Okay. Taliel will take the coins and then step away from the altar until everybody else has grabbed something, I think.
Yeah, Berlinia's gonna take the bowl of bones. Is that what it? Rat bones. Yeah.
Okay.
And step back.
So then there's the statue, the 4 dead cockroaches, and the green candle are left on the altar.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take the candle.
So, Qualo, you gonna do anything?
What me do, guys?
Grab the cockroaches.
Okay.
Okay, you now all have these items. What are you gonna do?
Okay, so now Taliel will look at the others and she will approach the statue by herself and then kind of, I guess, sew the gold coins in front of the statue.
Okay, there is the distinctive clinking sound of the coins as you sort of loosely make the sewing motion, and they land on the shrine in front of the statue.
Then she'll step back and kind of nod to Qualu.
Qualu will step forward and looks at the fresco of the frog masked person eating a bug. Do I eat or do I then? He'll say out loud.
Try going up in front of the statue and putting the bug in your mouth.
He'll like nonchalantly put the cockroach in his mouth. That's not the weird part about it for him.
Okay.
Hold it in his mouth and like.
Do you just hold it in your mouth, or are you gonna actually eat it?
I think he's gonna wait for something to happen, and if nothing happens, he'll like crunch.
There's a sort of popping sound as you break through the carapace, and then just start crunching on this softly on this cockroach. All right.
Do you think I should? She's holding a knife. Do any of you have a knife?
You should still have my dagger.
I have tusks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. So she's gonna go up and she kind of looks at. Should I just put it down?
Yeah, do the motions or something and then give it to it.
Motions.
Like,
You know what I think? You think the bones inside the bowl was for the time done this before?
So you're saying I need to do it again?
Maybe you just go up to the statue
Fresco has a chicken.
and then
Inside
stab the
there's some
knife.
bones.
Put the knife into the bowl with the bones in it. And then put the chicken with the bowl down in front of the statue.
But why is it a bowl? Bowl is for soup. Blood is like soup. Chickens have blood.
I don't have a chicken though.
Right, but what kind of bones are they?
Rat.
They're rat bones. You can see the little rat skull.
Rat died for this. It's blood.
Yeah, it just seems odd to me that it's a chicken and there's rats.
Is there any blood in the bowl? Any dried blood?
Brilinya would look inside the bowl and see if there's any dried
There is
blood.
the bowl is made of copper, and there is a sort of brown stain near the bottom of the bowl that seems to be sort of dry and flaky. Very much looks like it would be old dried blood.
You're right, Qualu. There is blood in here. It dried.
Qualu is right about some things. And Qualu is not right about many more things.
Oh yeah.
He says as he shrugs. And chewing on this cockroach still.
That was very helpful.
You need to bleed in the bowl.
Yeah. Brilinya is gonna go up to the bowl, or go up to the altar, kind of kneel before, even if that's not necessary, but she's seen this many times, many different rituals, and she's going to take the dagger and just slice her hand and put it on the bones in the bowl.
Your blood begins to spill into the bowl. And now there are bloody rat bones in the bowl.
I really hope that's enough and that we don't have to sacrifice anything or anyone.
I think
Maybe
we'll
not to think
find
we
out
all right.
soon.
Offer urns and treasure.
I think he was holding a lit candle. So
I'm just gonna jump into my pack, pull out my tinder box, and light the candle. Also, I guess I'll reach into my pack and find something valuable. Some gold pieces or gems or something. If I've got any. I'm pretty sure I do somewhere in there. But I'll do that and place it at the foot of the statue, like gifts and whatnot, and then hold the kind of bow and just kind of hold the candle up.
All right. Did you light the candle?
Yes, I did.
Okay. As Vale completes this last action, the coins on the shrine begin to rattle. The whole shrine, this wooden shelf thing, seems to sort of vibrate. You can hear the bones rattling in the copper bowl. All of the items that have been placed there begin rattling. And the statue of Kubazan that's sitting there begins to shake and topples over on the shelf. The blood in the copper bowl begins to rise up out of the bowl. And it reaches a point in front of or level with your eyes, Brilinya. And the blood has this sort of ghostly shape, vaguely humanoid, very wraith-like. Your offering is accepted. And the blood just goes, drops into the bowl. And you all hear as over in the portico, the sarcophagus slides open.
Just imagine now the Legend of Zelda music playing.
I would like you all to take a point of inspiration for the way you wonderfully interpreted and worked together to solve that puzzle. It could have gone so horribly wrong. It was such a vague puzzle, and you guys did a really great job of figuring it out. So take a point of inspiration for that. And now, Kubazan's sarcophagus is open.
I think Taliel, seeing as she was probably standing back a bit because her turn was first, she will go towards the sarcophagus and look inside.
You walk up to the sarcophagus. This sarcophagus, which you had not previously looked very closely at, you notice that it's very lacking in adornment. It's a very simple sarcophagus. Inside, you see bones much larger than any of the other bones that have been found. And in stark contrast to the bones of Ijin, the tiny Elmirage, these are the bones of a Froggamoth. Inside, on top of the bones, is a set of bracers. These bracers have leather bracers, have carvings of Froggamoths on them. And despite how long they have been in the sarcophagus, they look moist. But you also notice sitting next to them is a rotten leather quiver containing 20 brittle arrows.
Well, Taliel looks at the bracers and she's kind of repelled a little bit by how you've described them. But then she looks at the arrows, and knowing that she is actually running extremely low on arrows, she's going to try to remove them carefully without, hopefully that they are still usable. She's going to see if they are usable.
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that is a 12.
Unfortunately, the quiver and the arrows are in pretty bad shape. The arrows look like they would withstand being fired, but the shafts are extremely dry rotted, and they look like, while they may hit your target, they may just as well shatter when they hit your target and will probably not do very much damage. However, these bracers, they look very much like bracers that an archer would use.
All right. Taliel will go and she will grab them. She will grab them.
As you grab the bracers, you all see as Taliel reaches in, from sort of, picture her almost silhouetted now, as what looks like light reflecting off of water begins to bounce all around this tomb. As these glow with this watery light and begins rippling around the walls, you see a monstrous tentacled shadow begin rising from the sarcophagus in front of you, Taliel. And all of you smell the reeking stench of swamp. Vale and Brilinya, this smell may be a little more familiar to the two of you who previously battled an aspect of Kubazan to receive the puzzle cube. And you recognize this figure that rises, looks down at Taliel, and in a booming voice says, "You are brave to summon me. Together we will crush the Undying One." And Taliel, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
This doesn't happen to be, it saves against charmed or magic, does it?
It is. I'm going to say that it is not a charm. No.
Nope. Okay.
No.
That's a 14.
You all watch as what is becoming kind of familiar, as this spirit of Kubazan says these words, and suddenly, Taliel, as you take a breath, you inhale the spirit god of Kubazan. You now have an inherited flaw. I am fearless and not afraid to take great risks. However, your strength score is now 23. Taliel suddenly, as she inhabits this, the spirit inhabits her. She seems to. She doesn't necessarily like her shoulders don't get broader, or neck thicker, but you see this definition in her muscles in her arms that you didn't see before. Vale, you would very much recognize the effects that are taking place because you were previously inhabited by the spirit of Kubazan.
I see you are already a strong warrior. Now I have made you stronger. Together we will destroy the dark god that imprisons us all here.
And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and take our break now. Since we're just a couple minutes away from when we would normally take our break, and I really got to pee. So you have managed to defeat the Tomb Guardians, and you have stumbled across another one of the trickster gods and acquired. Oh, by the way, I should also tell you real quick before we take this break what you got. This item, Taliel, that you have, if D&D Beyond is working properly, or when it is, you have bracers of archery. So you can add that to your character sheet when you get a chance. Otherwise, in the meantime, if you're running off of the PDF still, while you wear these bracers, you have proficiency with the longbow and shortbow, which you already had. But you have a +2 bonus to damage rolls on ranged attacks made with bows. That's just damage, not attack. And just because it's something we established a long time ago, these do require attunement, but we are just sort of fast-tracking the 1-hour attunement process.
So I already have bracers of archery.
Oh, well, now you have a godly set of bracers of archery. So you can either keep them or give them to somebody else.
Yeah, if somebody is wanting, we've got bracers. We'll keep them for now.
Well, as long as you hold on to these, whether you're wearing them or not, you still have, you are still possessed by the spirit of Kubazan.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right, and with that, we are going to go ahead and take our break. We will be back in just a few minutes, so please stick around. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in so far, and thank you to, I think we've got like something, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 channels are hosting us tonight, so that's really awesome. Thank you to everybody that's watching on these hosted channels. I hope you're enjoying the game. All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and take our 10-minute break. We'll see you back here after the break. And we're back. All right, so you have defeated the chained guardians that were guarding this hallway. You went up the small passage to the north and found the shrine to Kubazan, one of the 9 trickster gods. You have now discovered the shrines, the tombs of 6 of the 9 trickster gods, and acquired their treasures, which some of you are currently, 3 of you are currently inhabited by spirits of the trickster gods. Vale being inhabited by Obalaka, Brilinya by Ijin, and Taliel recently is possessed by Kubazan, the Froggamoth. You've each gained special abilities because of that. Vale, I believe, Obalaka allows you to attune to 1 extra magical item. Taliel, you have a strength of 23 now, and Brilinya, you have a dexterity of 23, plus the various magic items you've acquired along the way. This room, now that you've thoroughly checked out the tomb and seen everything in here, there are no other exits. The only way out is back the way you came. You do notice, as you're looking around the room, some of that purple fungus. You see once again as an eye stalk sort of pops out, looks around the room at all of you, and then goes back into the purple fungus. What would you like to do?
There were doors we have not taken. And I think with that, Brilinya, not sorry. Oh my gosh.
Taliel's having a crisis of identity.
So many voices in my head. Taliel will very confidently start striding towards those doors and leaving this room.
All right. Taliel marches out and heads immediately towards the wooden doors that are at the end of the hallway to the west. Both of these wooden doors are carved with leering, laughing skulls, similar to the green devil faces. Is everybody following after Taliel? I would like everybody to make a perception check, but Taliel, you will do so at disadvantage.
13.
Ooh, an 18.
I got a nat 1. So, yeah.
I did roll a nat 20, but with disadvantage, however, I have to go with the other die roll. So that'll be a total of 15.
All right. Qualu, as Taliel leads the way and begins heading towards the doors, and you're all kind of moving out of there, you're sort of following along, your goat staff sort of clacking on the ground as you walk. Every once in a while, you just sort of... And you've got a bit of cockroach stuck in your teeth as you're walking along. And you're the last one to come out of this hallway, and you see on the south wall, directly opposite this hallway, you see the purple fungus, and you see an eye stalk. It seems to sort of linger on the dead bodies of the tomb guardians, and then slowly look at all of you, and then it sees you looking at it, and it sort of very quickly, and as it recedes, you notice that the purple fungus here seems to sort of be going as if blown by a gentle breeze along the edge of the floor. Would you do anything with that?
I think that if it were to fly past Qualu's feet, he might squish it with his boot, almost idly.
It's not moving. It's moving as if blown by a breeze. It's still there. It's just sort of rustling.
Yeah.
Nowhere else has the fungus done this.
I think the temptation still is there for if he were to walk past it, he would squish it.
So you step on it?
Yeah.
Taliel, as you begin to move towards the door, you all hear as Qualu just sort of stomps his foot. You squish on this purple fungus. You actually see as you squish it some of this sort of almost, it's less a goo and just sort of a juice sort of comes out, and you see it, some of it seep under the edge of the wall in a way that it shouldn't be able to unless there were a door or something there. And then right next to your head, where there's some of this some more of this purple fungus, you see another eye stalk go, and it looks around the hallway at the four of you, and I'm going to randomly determine which one of you. Vale is 1, Taliel is 2, Brilinya is 3, Qualu is 4. Qualu, it fittingly is going to be you. Qualu, because I like to let my players choose their fate, I would like you to roll a d10.
I was trying to remember what die size it was. All right,
Remember.
That's going to be a 1.
So it's a lot better than it could have been.
I guess so.
I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right, things could have gone much better. All right. Thank goodness for high dice rolls. That's a 23.
This eye stalk holds your gaze for a moment, and you sense a presence beyond this fungus, beyond this eye stalk, trying to take control of you. And after a moment, you just sort of shake your head. It's actually an involuntary "Meh," that sort of breaks the hold. And the eye stalk quickly looks around and recedes. But through this process, you have noticed that there does appear to be a open edge under this particular area of wall directly opposite the hallway. About this time, Taliel, you reach the doors. What would you like to do?
Well, open them, of course.
Of course. You open up the doors. And as you do so, neither of them are locked, and they don't appear to be trapped. They swing inward, and they don't swing quite freely. They have a little bit of a stuttering to them on these rusty hinges as you just sort of push them open, and you hear 10 feet from the doors, you see a thick tapestry curtain hanging from wall to wall. It is embroidered in a very highly detailed scene of merriment. Nobles are feasting around a banquet table, a roast boar on a platter, and servants are pouring wine. That is about 10 feet into the room. This room is 20 feet wide, and it's just a curtain. And you can see just a little bit of movement, possibly from the breeze of the doors opening, but you can see that the room goes on beyond these curtains. There is purple fungus growing on the walls and floor of this room as well.
What is this? It is just a tapestry. Perhaps there is something more on the other side.
You hear Kubazan in your head.
I agree. And
you do have free will. You don't have to just go along with what Kubazan says.
But I do have that flaw, right?
True.
Yeah, which kind of goes with the character a little bit. And so where she might have been a little bit more cautious before, now I don't think she would. So I think it's just a curtain. There wasn't anything in front of the curtain, right?
Nope.
No, yeah. Unless somebody stops her, she's going to walk into the room and go straight towards the curtain to push through it.
I'll do it. I'll hold back her shoulder for a second. Look, everything in here is designed to kill us, so at least make us regret ever coming in here. I'm going to draw my rapier, and I'm just going to kind of poke the tapestry, but stand like far enough away that the thing doesn't try and like leap on me or turn into a mimic or explode. Perhaps it's a tapestry covered in landmines. I don't know, So so I'm just gonna kind of poke it and like kind of move away.
It has the weight of like heavy drapes. So there's a little bit of resistance when you push on it. It's not like a thin, lacy curtain or anything like that. But it does move freely, and nothing happens when you poke it.
All right, hang on a second here. I'm trying to see what spells do I have. Of course I didn't, because that would have made sense for me to cast Detect Magic, which I don't have. am I feeling anything from it? Like, is there anything feel magical from it in any way, shape, or form? Like, am I getting some vibes?
I mean, short of actually casting a spell, you're not really sensing anything magical. You're just sensing a kind of musty old tapestry hanging from the wall.
Can anyone else see if this thing is magical and in some fashion?
Nobody appears to be able to do so.
All right. I'll kind of move away from Taliel and say, well, hang on a minute. At least at least let me go ahead, kind of peek behind, but you just get ready with an arrow just in case. At least we can hit it from range if we have to, if there's something or anything.
Yeah, Taliel will definitely pull out the bow, knock it with arrows. She's ready.
Did you by chance take those arrows from the sarcophagus earlier?
If I could have picked them up without breaking them,
Yeah,
she would have
so,
taken them.
Yeah, I meant to tell you, if you do use any of those arrows, they will work, but they will only do 1 point of piercing damage each.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But you do have 20 brittle arrows.
Perfect.
Okay, so Vale, you're going to open the veil, as it were.
Get out. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of, like, I'll kind of stand on the side of it, and as I'm kind of pulling back the tapestry, I'm just going to kind of like move back with it, so it just opens up whatever's behind it. So people could just basically kind of get ready, mechanically prep an action or something.
You move the tapestry aside, and as you sort of push on it, you see it sort of parts in the middle, like a curtains. And just on the other side, just 5 feet beyond it, is another tapestry. At first glance, this tapestry appears to be identical to the one you just opened. You see the same feast with the same nobles, but then you notice that the scene is slightly different. The scene has descended into depravity. Nobles are fighting with one another. One of them drives a dagger into the throat of another. 6 more nobles are engaging in carnal pleasures on and below the table, or they sprawl on the floor in puddles of vomit. This feast depicted upon this tapestry has just descended into utter madness. And it does look like there might be sorry, Megan got me in the side chat. I will not share. Inside joke. No, back up. That's not an inside joke. It's just a joke. Oh my gosh. Whew. Anyway. Yes, you see another curtain, and it does appear as though it is just another curtain and could possibly open to further into this room. How will you proceed?
All right, so I guess I'll take the first tapestry and kind of pull it all back and like kind of secure it. And then same thing again. I'll grab one end of it and kind of like go back, revealing whatever it is, so they can kill whatever's on the other side.
So before he ties the first one right off, Taliel would like to take a look at what was on the back side of the tapestry, if there was actually anything on that side, or if it was just blank.
It's just blank. It actually looks like the back of a tapestry. You see that, like it's a slightly faded version. you know, because you're not looking at the bright colors and the clean design. You're seeing the rough design of the backside.
Perfect. Okay.
As you open up the second curtain, you see the third scene. And on this tapestry, it is a scene of horror. Nobles are feasting on servants. They are eating each other alive. They are setting fire to the hall, and the roast boar on the table is depicted as alive and laughing on its platter. And I need all of you to make a wisdom saving throw. Do so at advantage, Qualu.
So
15.
I'm going to invoke my daily, like once per long rest ability of Indomitable to reroll a saving throw.
Okay.
I'm going to use a domain dice.
Sure.
Oh my god.
I got a 23.
Got an 18.
I assume this is save against fear, right?
It is.
Okay.
Taliel?
Yeah, so I rolled the exact same number when I re-rolled it. So that's a total of 4.
Qualu?
15.
What was it?
15.
Taliel, as Vale opens this scene and you see this final scene depicted on the curtain, the tapestry, it's as if you can hear in your head the debauchery, the revelry. You can hear the sounds of the nobles tearing the servants apart, of teeth rending flesh, bones pulled apart. You can hear the sound, the maniacal deep laughter of this boar in your head, and it terrifies you. In your head, you even hear Kubazan.
What sorcery is this? Get us out of here now!
And you have no choice but to get out of this room as fast as you can. Taliel pushes past Brilinya, Qualu, Vale, and you rush out of the room, Taliel, before you feel, and as soon as you pass through the doors, you feel a sense of relief, but you feel that your source of fear is in that room. If you want to make an attempt to go back in the room, you will have to repeat the saving throw. As Taliel suddenly rushes out of this room, the rest of you feel, you hear very vaguely these sounds of revelry, and then they sort of pass. And you just see the scene depicted on a tapestry before you. And it does look as though you could open this tapestry even further into the room. What are you going to do?
Brilinya is not going to be the one to open up. She's kind of looking down, trying to, like, she's just this unease, and also seeing Taliel just run off in fear has made her almost going to go back after her.
I always knew Kubazan, though depicted as a great frahigmith, was nothing more than a pussy. You hear Ijin in your head, Brilinya.
Whoa.
How can we know what else is beyond there if we don't open the curtain? Come on, don't you want to see what it is? Vale, in your head, you hear, maybe Kubazan is right to run. I don't like this. Qualu has an empty head and hears nothing. Except his own thoughts.
Brilinya is just kind of shaking her head. This time, the fear is overwhelming the voice of Ijin, or the unease more, and she looks to the others. Should we continue?
Yeah, let's get this over with. and kind of in my head, just kind of seeing and kind of surprised that Obalak is not, losing their absolute shit, and kind of impressed at the same time. But I'll tie off that third one, or I'll tie off, I guess, the since the second one's already tied off, I'm gonna kind of.
As you pull the curtain aside, you hear in your head Obalaka scream, and I'll prevent your ears from bleeding. As you just hear this horrified scream, as immediately in front of your face, mounted on the wall, as you open the curtain, Vale, is a severed, rotting boar's head, the same boar's head from the feast on the tapestries, fresh blood dribbling from its tusks and teeth, and its jaws are working up and down. And I need all of you except Taliel, who is not in the room, to make a saving throw, and Vale, you will do so at advantage.
What kind of saving throw?
Sorry, you are making a wisdom saving throw. And Taliel, if you want to attempt to overcome your fear to go back into the room, you may make the save versus fear again.
It is not happening. That's the third 2 in a row I have rolled.
Yeah,
on the
this
dice.
room terrifies you.
I passed.
I didn't tell you the DC.
13.
I got a 29.
Brilinya, you got what?
Got a 13.
And Qualu, you got a 15?
15, yeah.
Oh boy.
All three of us fail.
No.
I was going to say
Qualu
29
and-
fails. Oh, man.
Qualu and Brilinya, you have failed. I need the two of you to make an initiative roll versus each other to see who is going to do this thing first.
Got an 18. I hope I don't decapitate you.
Got a 26.
Okay.
Brilinya, you cannot help yourself as you hear in your head, and Qualu, you hear it as well.
For centuries, the noble elite has dined upon my flesh. But now it is your turn to become a part of the feast of the bravety. Come, let me show you sweet release.
And Brilinya, you have no choice but to walk forward and place your head in the open jaws of the boar.
Awesome.
You watch Vale and Qualu as Brilinya walks forward. You have heard no voice except for Qualu. Qualu, you also want desperately to put your head in this boar's mouth, but Brilinya has gotten there so much quicker. Vale, you see Brilinya walk forward and just stand in front of the boar's head and sort of cocking her head almost as if listening to something. And then she places her hands out and just suddenly grabs hold of the boar's head and shoves her head in its mouth.
Wait, can I stop her? Can I
I will let you make
tackle?
I will let you make a I will let you make a dexterity or strength check to either try to beat her to it. Well, first you got to do the strength check. You got to try to beat her to it.
Okay, it would be strength or athletics?
So this one's going to be the dexterity check. Sorry, because she's
dex.
moving fast.
And it's a check, not a save.
It is not a save. It is a check.
Okay, so I got an 18.
Brilinya had a 23 on hers from her initiative roll. She gets her head in before you can do anything.
Well, what if I use a domain die?
I will allow it.
Okay.
Hold on.
Actually, and I also have a point of inspiration too, which I know I can't, but it.
All right.
Well, shit.
You try your hardest, Vale. You even get your hands on Brilinya's shoulders, but she seems so determined to do this. The jaws of the boar clamp down on Brilinya's head. I gotta check something real quick. Brilinya, how many hit points do you have? Okay. Is that accurate, what's showing on D&D Beyond? 54?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to roll some D10s. Oh my gosh, 2 of those were 10s. Brilinya, you take 30 points of slashing damage as these teeth rip into the sides of your skull and into your neck, breaking one of your clavicles. One of the tusks actually hooks under your clavicle. Vale, you see, watch in horror as blood sprays from Brilinya as she is momentarily lifted off of her feet. As the head releases its bite on Brilinya, Brilinya, I need you to make your saving throw once again. Wisdom saving throw.
Oh, domain dice, please. I got a 3.
Wait, you do have a point of inspiration.
You do?
I mean, I guess that doesn't really...
I'll use the domain dice. I'm going to keep my...
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's a 13.
Brilinya, you feel the blood rushing from your body. And you are angry that this boar's head has not done as it's promised. It has not yet delivered you into the feast. And you do nothing to remove your head. Qualu. Brilinya's head is in the jaws of this boar, and you need to be there.
I gotta push her out to stick my head in.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like, now at this point, I would like the two of you to make a contested strength athletics check.
All right, I got 2 digits on my roll. Did you get 2 digits?
Yeah. Vale, you watch as Qualu comes up determined, and he easily pulls Brilinya from out of the jaws of this thing. Blood is pouring down and staining her robes. You see flesh pulled aside as she's ripped off of the jaws of this boar. And there's a momentary... Say that again? No, the jaws did open up.
Okay.
As soon as they bit down on you, they opened back up. As Qualu pulls Brilinya away, you see this wild look in Brilinya's face. And you see her struggling with Qualu. But Qualu has successfully pulled your friend out of the jaws. And then you watch in horror as Qualu jams his head in the mouth of the boar.
Nom, nom, nom.
Are you going to attempt to stop him?
Can I? Oh, yes. And can I? Hey, wait a minute. Am I getting?
This is
hang
good.
on.
Keep Qualu in there.
No.
If Qualu's in there, Brilinya can't be in there. Think
okay.
Big brain.
What am I feeling from this boar's head? Like, is it? Do I feel like this thing is some sort of a fiend, some sort of a demon-like creature, some sort of a, something like that? Is it?
You do not sense any sort of demonic, fiendish, or undead aspect coming from it. Your knowledge and experience with magic would lead you to believe that there's potentially some sort of spell that is applied to this thing. So Qualu, or actually first Vale, are you attempting to get Qualu out of this thing?
Yes. Contested
athletics checks.
God damn it.
Hey, at least it's not Taliel with her 23 strength.
Yeah, that's...
But Qualu's pretty high up there, is he?
I got a natural 20, so...
son of a...
I kicked you in the nuts while you do it, too.
Stop doing that. Why don't you just fail? Why don't you say, hey, I'd like to use a domain die and roll a 1?
25 points of slashing damage, Qualu,
Oh yeah.
as the boar
Hurts.
bites down on you, and you get to re-save, or attempt to re-save. So, yeah. So you are going to make a saving throw versus this thing.
I got a 14, which is not better than last time.
Also, Vale, when you succeeded against being charmed by this, you have no sense that it's trying to do anything to you anymore. You are immune to the effects of this. What did you get, Qualu? New wisdom
14.
save? 14?
Yeah.
Taliel, you can attempt to resave again versus fear. You can see into the room. You see this commotion that's happening. You see Brilinya and Qualu being attacked by, from your perspective, it looks like they're being attacked by this boar's head. And Vale is attempting to wrestle with them. You see lots of blood.
I'll
So Taliel, make a fear saving throw again.
That was much higher. This is a 14 now.
That is exactly what you needed. As you stand there, you suddenly feel the fear, watching your friends being devoured by this thing. Your desire to say again?
Can I see all that from
Yeah, you
outside?
can see everything, and it seems to embolden you, and you push past. But Kubazan in your head, you hear him say,
I have overcome the fear. It is our time to be triumphant.
And it is your turn. You are outside the room, and they are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet away from you.
Well, my movement is 35 feet. So
Qualu currently has his mouth. Nope. He's currently making out with the boar. His head is currently inside the boar's mouth. And it looks like Brilinya, it almost at this point looks like Vale is trying to pull against Qualu while holding Brilinya back with one hand. All three of them are covered in blood. What are you doing?
I'd like to try to break the boar's head, like rip its jaws open, I guess is what I'd like to do.
So you run into the room and you immediately just grab it and start pulling at it. Just for fun of it, let's make an athletic strength check. Excuse me.
Okay, athletics, strength check. Okay. All right. That will be a 25.
Taliel comes rushing into the room. She doesn't even bother to pull Qualu out. You see her just sort of shove in next to you all. She reaches in, grabs a hold of the lower jaw, grabs the snout, and you just hear this horrific as she rips the jaw. The lower jaw just rips right off. Qualu's blood begins spilling out onto the floor and along the wall. And the boar's head is knocked askew as its jaw is ripped off. And in that exact moment, Qualu and Brilinya, the charm of the boar is broken. And you are both acutely aware of the danger you put yourself in. A few items fall out of the mouth onto the floor at your feet. Other than that, we have a badly, various degrees of wounded. It looks pretty bad, the wounds of Qualu and Brilinya. But you are no longer afraid or charmed. What would you like to do?
Brilinya would just slump to the floor for a moment, just kind of overwhelmed by just all of that.
Brilinya, as you slump to the ground, you almost absent-mindedly notice, just as you're sort of staring at yours and Qualu's blood mixing together, pooling, where it's dripping off of the severed jaw of the knocked askew boar's head on the wall. It's dripping into the floor, running down the wall, pooling at your feet. You sort of just absent-mindedly notice there's a bent pair of gold spectacles, a leather eye patch with a bloodstone set into it, and a platinum hairpin, possibly remnants of previous victims that were caught in the boarhead's mouth, that are lying pooled in this pooling blood. I do apologize. We should never have gone in here. I'm sorry, sometimes I get us into trouble. You hear Ejin's voice in your mind, Brilinya.
Brilinya just kind of shakes her head and just, no, it's all right. It's this place.
This is a horrible place.
We're gonna get you out of here. We're gonna get out of here. Although that time, Brilinya's voice didn't sound as sure. But she would stand up and she would pick up the small trinkets.
I'm gonna drop those in the chat. They are small treasures that have gold value. I've dropped them in the side chat. The spectacles are worth 25 gold pieces. The eye patch with the bloodstone is what's worth 50 gold pieces, regardless of the eye patch. And the platinum hairpin is worth 75. What about the rest of you? Vale, Qualu. At this point, Taliel, even you, having gotten so close, you're all covered in what is basically Brilinya and Qualu's blood.
Qualu presses his hand to his temple, and this is a bewitched place.
I think Taliel is actually not paying much attention to the blood, but more to the walls. And the area that we're in. Because as far as I can tell right now, like it's a dead end, right?
It is. This room was nothing more than a trap.
I think she says kind of under her breath, like, this isn't right. We've been everywhere. We're missing something.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds at level 2 on both. I'm gonna cast it twice. Once for Qualu and one's for Brilinya. So first one, Qualu, gain 12 hit points. Sorry, that's not very much. And then of course, Brilinya, that's better. So you gain 16 hit points.
Sure, heal her more than me, huh? Favoritism.
I mean, she is our healer, so really, it's more of a screw you too.
There was nowhere here where we righted the gods, right?
Exactly. Like, we've done everything else.
Based on your knowledge of the layout of the tomb from the first levels, you, and kind of using the map that I gave you guys as reference, there are a couple of small passageways they were crawlways that you did not investigate. There is also a whole section to the south and to the southwest that has the potential for there being other avenues, just based on previous layouts. Qualu, you do recall that you saw what could have been a hidden door back in the hallway.
Yeah, Taliel, Vale is attending to both Brilinya and Qualu. And I think Taliel's just, she's got this in her head, right? That there's more to it. So she's going to go back out to that hall where we, like just outside the doors that we'd open. And she's going to go along that south wall, basically looking for something else.
All right, give me an investigation check.
And I get advantage because I'm a dungeon
Oh,
delver.
yes.
Which really doesn't help because those are really bad numbers. Yeah, so that's a 9.
You do have 16 domain dice and a point of inspiration if you didn't use it yet.
I think I will re-roll one of these dice with my inspiration.
Okay.
What's that? I'll start there. Yeah, that's not much better. Yeah, that's a 10. This is not one.
Qualu, you see Taliel. She seems to be looking for an additional entrance, moving along that south wall where you previously noted in the middle that there was the possibility of something.
I feel that as the magic sets in to cure his flesh, he'll join Taliel in the search, as he's now a bit more intrigued by the layout of this place, as he thought that this avenue that we were going on was the right way, but it's a dead end. So he'll kind of remember that strange floppy part and investigate it.
Yeah, and as you come out, you can hear Taliel is like, "There's got to be something here," and she's getting a little bit more and more frustrated as she's not finding anything as she's going down this road.
And with Qualu's previous discovery, he sort of points you at that section of the wall. And as the two of you converge in that section directly south of the passageway to Kubazan's resting place, you press on the section of wall and it slides out of the way, revealing a very small chamber and a set of stairs leading down just a little ways. This room is small and dusty, barely 10 foot by 10 foot. And there is a golden skull resting on a pedestal in the middle of the room. You also see on the southeastern corner of this room, there is a small crawlway. The skull is human, or it seems to be human, and it looks to be plated in gold, or made of gold.
And it's right side up, like it's not fallen over or anything.
Yep, it's just sitting there.
Would we have all gotten in at that point, or not yet?
The room is small enough that you wouldn't all be able to fit into it very easily. I guess, 4 people can fit into a 10 foot by 10 foot room. It's close, but you could all go into the room. There's no reason you couldn't.
Well, if anything, I could at least poke my head in. I want to kind of look at the skull for a moment. Is there any dust on it?
There does appear to be a little bit of dust on the skull.
Okay. So we can assume that it's not magical. Because normally magical items just don't have dust on it. They look nice all the time, and
They attract little pixies that like dust them for them.
May not be magical, but it might be though.
a trap.
A trap, yeah, like a weighted trap. As soon as we lift it,
What? A trap in this dungeon?
right?
Come on. Come on.
Such nonsense you speak.
I know. This is Tomb of Annihilation is a paranoia simulator.
It's
Like,
called
we
Tomb of
should-
Annihilation, not Tomb of
I know.
Traps.
You guys started this session off fearlessly destroying 2 massive Frankenstein knights, and then spent 6 times as long putting on masks and trying to figure out how to eat bugs and light candles. That's D&D. All right.
Yes.
So you're looking at the skull, noting a little bit of dust. I mean, the room isn't like overly dusty, but it's dusty.
It's dusty. It's not dusty. Yeah.
Say
Did
we
Lydia
leave
look
it
at the
alone.
crawlway?
It's a crawlway.
Can she go into the crawlway? Can she fit?
It's a tight fit. And yeah, you basically, I mean, picture for me, this is, I'm extremely claustrophobic. So I get the heebie-jeebies a little bit with this. But imagine like when you see those videos of people cave crawling, and it's like your shoulders will brush against the sides, your back, your knees. You basically can just sort of crawl your way through the passageway if you wish.
Yeah.
What was that?
My voice was...
My sentiments exactly.
My voice was not ready for that description.
It very quickly, like within 5 feet, you see that it turns south.
Okay.
And it goes south for about 30 feet before turning east or west again. And you can tell that much by just sort of crawling into it just enough to see around the bend.
I think Brilinya says to the others, I'm just going to take a quick look. I'll be right back. And she's going to crawl in to the hole.
Okay. So you begin crawling. At one point, midway through, you become acutely aware of the fact that you are probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 feet below ground, deep within this stone chamber. I got to stop describing this quite that way. As you make your way 30 feet, and you can now see into a room that is actually a little bit smaller than it's a little bit smaller than the room that you came from, but seems to have a similar, almost trapezoidal look. It's about 15 feet across, but it sort of to the north angles up a little bit. And what you see is this room is dark and dusty. You see that there is a hulking figure wearing a bucket helmet standing to the west with one hand on an iron lever that is set into the wall. The south wall is sloped and has a large rectangular window 5 feet wide by 7 feet high. The window looks into a hallway, but I'm not going to tell you what you see through the window because you can't see into the window. The figure that is standing there silently with its hand on the lever looks very similar to the tomb guardians that you've encountered before. But this one seems to be standing sentry with a hand on a lever.
Cool. All right. Brilinya is not going to get out of the crawl space. She's just going to back up.
It's a little nerve-wracking. I won't describe how nerve-wracking, but you make it out.
She's going to tell the others what she saw. And ask, have you made any progresses with this skull?
Has anybody, while she was gone, did anybody do anything with the skull?
I did not want to touch the skull while she was in that crawl space.
Qualu has actively not touched the skull.
I will not have touched the skull, but I most certainly would have examined every small part of it to see if there's a hidden chain attached to it or a cord or something. examine the plinth, but not touch anything, but definitely examine anything for any sort of something, anything that's going to, yeah.
You have plenty of time. Brilinya's gone for a good almost 10 minutes. Most of that time spent traversing there and back this tunnel. But I would like you to roll an investigation check, and because you have so much time, I'll let you do so at advantage.
I'll take it. Nice. All right. That is an 16, natural 16.
Looking at this skull, you're able to sort of move around and get a good look at it from all different angles. It is a human skull, and the detail on it is so incredible that it is either a magnificent artisan's rendition in gold of a human skull, or it is an actual human skull that has been dipped in gold. Looking around from every possible angle, you do not see anything connected to it. In fact, because it's a human skull and the way it sits on this plinth, it only has a couple of points, of very small points of contact. And you can see no signs that there's any wires, chains, switches, levers, or anything connected to it. It just appears to be a golden skull sitting on a plinth.
And in that investigation, like, doesn't seem to be any like weighted traps, no like tiny seams on the plinth that looks like it could like go. Okay.
No, that's right, because you were looking at the plinth too. No, the plinth is just a stone plinth. There doesn't seem to be any sort of seams, or it doesn't look like it would have it's smooth and flat the whole way. It's not like Indiana Jones where it was a pedestal on a pedestal, and if you pull it off, it's gonna drop down or raise up or anything like that.
Fair. All right, then I will also explain that whole thing as well. Just let everyone know, like, doesn't, all the information on that.
And Jake, when we first came down the one hallway, did we? I'm trying to remember if it was this floor or not. Was there a window that we had looked through and could see stuff, but we couldn't get to at one point?
That was when you were working on going into the room with the hieroglyphs on the floor. There was a passage that somebody could look through, and they could see what the next. I believe it was Vale that stayed outside and was telegraphing, because telepathically.
Okay, I did the telepathic.
Okay, that was you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that area, and that was to the north. I would like all of you to make an intelligence check. You can add insight if you want as well. Actually, yeah. And Brilinya, I want you to do so at advantage.
Sorry, we're making an insight check?
Yeah. How much?
16.
Got a 22.
Brilinya and Vale, as you're kind of thinking through, and as you're investigating, and you're just it's sort of in the back of your mind, and more so for you, Brilinya, as you sort of spotted where this guardian was standing watch over this switch. You get the sense that positionally, from the floor above, the spiral staircase that was outside of the tomb dwarves' office. If you remember that, one floor up, there was the office, and there was the place where the tomb guardians were being made. There was a spiral staircase there that you chose not to go down. You get the sense that that is between this room with the skull and the room that you saw by going through the crawlway. So that just gives you a sense that there is that, at least the stairwell that's there. You can do with that what you will. So Vale's communicated everything he discovered, that the skull seems to be just a skull sitting on the shelf. It's a skull that's either made of gold or covered in gold, and it looks pretty valuable. Other than that, that's all you can discern from it.
Once Brilinya is back, you should take it.
No. I think Brilinya would just, what I've seen from this tomb is that if it doesn't have anything to do with the hints at the beginning on the floor, I should probably not touch it.
It's not nailed down. It's just there, free for the taking.
Yeah. No. Brilinya is, despite this voice, Brilinya is still kind of eyeing it warily.
But it could be worth so much.
I bet it would smash nicely.
Or we could keep it.
Vale, you hear Obalaka in your head. There's a strong part of me that wants to caution you to not even touch that skull. But you touched my skull.
You know, we have to work on your phrasing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Besides, if it were up to you, I'd go run screaming out of here, find a very safe spot in the jungle, surround myself with stones.
Is that an option? Because you did not say that was an option. Let's take that.
It's not an option, actually. It's not an option. Yeah. You do know that I'm gonna have to at some point face off against the Soulmonger and a Serarak, and we're gonna put ourselves into extreme danger. You do know that this is coming, right?
You don't, though. Why do you have to? There's other heroes.
Oh, is there? We're gonna go inhabit them?
They might be better than you.
Well, I'm not locking you in. You feel free. Just go find someone else. Hey, you know that
that's
big
what you
half-orc?
want. You just want me to leave.
Maybe the entire thing's a trap. Maybe I'm trying to get you to go over into that half-orc over there. You know, the big tough one. He looks like he's big and strong. You should go hang with him.
I'm fine where I am.
What a surprise. You can't leave, can you?
I can leave whenever I want.
Then leave?
I just don't want to.
Choose not to. Yeah. It sounds like a mate of mine. He had a pipe smoking addiction. Yeah, said he could quit at any time. That's fine. All right, on you go. I say we take the skull, though. And I say, and of course, I'm like saying that both to Obalaka and to everyone else. I say we take the skull.
I agree.
If I am allowed to speak, I vastly disagree. This place is nothing but a cursed place. Take not its treasures and take not its baubles.
I guess you make a good point there as well.
It is literally cursed. I know what the word literally means. I've pondered its meaning for the past 26 minutes.
I see. Almost sounds like you metagaming. That's fine though. All right. I guess we could leave it here as well. Anyone else feel that pull of greed?
I thought you were in charge. Why are you letting the half-elf take all the commands?
I'll do it. You guys leave. I'll follow you out.
Do not touch that skull. It is a trap.
Of course it's a trap. But with great danger comes great discovery. We don't know what the skull could be.
Oh my God, just pick up the skull. Don't speak such nonsense.
This place was built by a madman, a murderer, a strange defiler of the old ancient ways. Everything in this place is a thing designed to kill us in the end.
While he's talking, Taliel's going to pick up the skull.
No!
As you pick up the skull, you reach out and touch it. And the moment you touch it,
disintegrate.
it levitates up to head height. It opens its jaws and it goes,
Oh, God. I did not think anybody was ever going to pick me up. You all blather on forever and ever about whether you're going to touch me, whether you're not going to touch me. Leave it there. Take it. Are you all this dumb? Oh. But thank you. Thank you for releasing me. I am now your companion. Does anybody have any gold or gems? Oh, sure, for the last, 26 minutes you said? You've all been sitting around talking nonstop. The moment I ask you for gems or coins, you shut up.
I mean, to be fair, we didn't expect you to be, sentient? Guess that's the right word for it.
That's rather insulting. I am
Lost all of his
Yak.
material goods.
I am Yak. I was once entertainer to the royal family of Omu.
And was your skull always made of gold, or was this just a new thing?
This is, was not this way in life, but in my death, it is how, the royal family chose to honor me. Yeah.
That's a new one.
So, you look like adventurers. Let's adventure.
You like a lich or a demi-lich or something, are you?
Your mother was a lich.
Really? That's it, huh?
Give me a break. I've been in here for who knows how long.
Well, then if you've been here for so long, you think you'd come up with better material. I mean, before I toss a coin to my demi-licher, I'd rather, want to know exactly what's going on here.
Oh my
I both love you and hate you for that.
Well,
Mike, you're instantly dead.
all I can say is it is a good thing I am not bound to you. I am bound to this one.
And it turns to face you, Taliel.
Bound.
Yes, you're the one that picked me up.
What does that mean exactly?
Bound, it's like when you tie things together or you fasten them somehow. You and me, we are like sisters.
And now she's got like two voices. And she's like,
I'm certain that you have better things to do than stand around and talk to me. Let's go out and see the world. I've been in here for a very long time.
You can move on your own?
Wherever you go, I will follow.
Oh, lovely. All right, let's go.
Seriously, though, does anybody have any gems or gold coins? I am so incredibly hungry.
I will toss him a gold coin.
You flip him a gold coin and chomps away at it until it vanishes.
No, you know what? That was not very good. I need gemstones. I thought the gold coins would be good. They are not. They're stale. Do I have any gems? The more valuable, the better they taste.
Oh. I'm pretty sure I still have a few, one or two of those, smaller rubies left. I think they were worth like 50 gold each or something. Vaguely remember that. As the one thing that hey, wizards, if by some weird chance you ever, come on and check this out, suggestion, character sheets with also a separate thing for gemstones. Like treasure in the treasure bit,
I happen to have a banded agate that's worth like 10 gold. So I just found that on my character sheet. So
I know that Brilinya has a bloodstone worth 50 gold pieces. She just found it. Anyway,
I'll toss him my banded agate of the 10 GP
right.
worth.
You toss him a banded agate, and again, chomp, chomp, chomp. It actually, without any effort whatsoever, you watch the jaws disintegrate this gem. And as he makes an absurd affected gulping sound, there's no sign of the gem that remains.
Lots more of those. And maybe I'll consider going away. Anyway, let's adventure.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. You have acquired the Curse of the Golden Skull. This Golden Skull yak will follow you wherever you go. It is now your constant companion, Taliel. Unless you can find some way to get rid of him if you want to. I mean, he's such a charming fellow. So with that, we are going to go ahead and end tonight's session, Chained Guardians, episode 56 of the Chult of Personality. And we will return next Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern with whatever I decide to title session 57. It was certainly lovely to be back behind the DM screen with all of you, and just fun to be playing this game once again. Excuse me. Thank you to everybody who tuned in with us tonight, and the many, like 5 or 6 different channels were hosting us tonight. So thank you to everybody who hosted the channel. Thank you to anybody that subscribed or resubscribed. Make sure you click that little follow icon to be notified when we go live with our games. We've got a game coming up tomorrow night. We got a game coming up Thursday night. Wednesday, there will be the Spire, the City Must Fall campaign. Friday night will be Curse of Strahd, run by Alan from Check for Traps. You can find me, Megan, and Connor, and Kaeryn over on Dice on Ice on Tuesday for our Curse of Strahd game. It is a week full of gaming fun. Thank you again to everybody who tuned in. Thank you, of course, to Mike, Kaeryn, Megan, and Connor, just for being awesome. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to get out of here. We're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Richard.